Good morning. Giving everybody just a chance to hop on with us this morning before we get everything started. And hope you had a great weekend. We had a great one at Harvest Church this weekend. And we are thankful for what God is doing in the local church. And hope you had great church where you were this weekend. And trying to get this to where I can share it real quick. And got a few people jumping on. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you this morning joining us. And I'll get this together here. There we go. Let's go ahead and get started. It is, it's right about 7:30, maybe just a minute or two before. Go ahead and read Matthew chapter 22. I have to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Matthew chapter 22 says in verses 2 through 5, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son. Verse 3, sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. And then the Bible says, again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage. And then verse 5 says, but they made light of it. The characters of this parable, they really need to be defined. Those invited to the feast are people in the king's sphere of influence. And if you are a Christian, then you would be someone that King Jesus would have invited to this feast. Jesus is describing responses from the king's followers. Okay, these are people that were close to the king, or supposedly close to the king. And so the king issues two invitations. Those bidden to the feast would not come, and the text does not explain, really, their resistance. The second invitation was sent, and the matter was now more pressing. All things are ready. And then he said, come. The response of those invited, we read it in verse 5, but they made light of it. But they made light of it. Now, the Greek scholar Kenneth Woost translated that phrase as they treated with indifference. When I read that, the wheels started turning as I would prepare for this morning. If you put this in contemporary thought, Jesus extends an invitation to an event that matters to him, and it is ignored. When there is pressure to participate, the invitation is treated with indifference. Those in Matthew 22 ignored the king in order to address their priorities. R.G. Lee one time said, too many churches are rest camps, playgrounds, ecclesiastical nurseries. He says there are people that are needing iron in the blood, that are sick with spiritual diabetes. There is too much sugar, he said. Church members become church enemies through apathy. And Lee challenges us, more troublesome to the church than the Midianites were to Israel are the lazyites who live behind the walls of sheer indifference. Why? The Lord's work is challenged by the do-nothings, the do-littles, or don't cares. And Lee kind of hits hard with his statements, and he's very blunt in what he says, but does he get it wrong? He said, if a car had as many useless parts as the average church, it wouldn't run downhill. I thought, man, this is heavy, but is he wrong? Because in the parable we just read, indifference resulted in a bad outcome. And I'll just say, it still does today. It still does today. What are you saying today, Seth? You're kind of starting out kind of different on a Monday than what we have been in previous ones. I may be coming across a little bit heavy today, but I want to say this. Whatever church you attend, when you need to find somewhere to be involved and be a part, get connected. And it starts with faithfulness, and then it moves to other areas that your local church may require to get involved. When Jesus invites you, or when even a ministry leader reaches out to you to be a part, don't be indifferent. Are you headed toward King Jesus event, or are you going your way to tend to your farm or manage your merchandise? It is impossible to be headed both directions at the same time. What would cause you to be indifferent towards something that Jesus wants to involve you in? Why would somebody be indifferent to the King's invitation? Those are just a couple of things that maybe we need to roll over in our mind today. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. Don't forget, we have the Children Harvest Kids online tonight at 7 o'clock, and a lot of great things that are going on at Harvest Church. If you want to know more about some events that are coming up, you can go to harvesthumboldt.com. That is harvesthumboldt.com. Thanks for joining us this morning. God bless you. Maybe a little bit shorter today. I got to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, thinking and praying for all of you. Hope you have a great Monday.